Hi, Dr. Clark here. Is there a cure for type 2 diabetes? Well, the answer is no, there isn't. And not because of why you think, though. I mean, you often hear that for these chronic conditions there's not a cure. The reason there's no cure for type 2 diabetes is that's the wrong question. That type of thinking, right, that there's a cure for this, quote, disease, that is the type of thinking that got us to be the most overweight, over-medicated country in the world. No matter what anybody tells you, whether they say that you're pre-diabetes, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetic, those are all labels. They do not, in any way, do justice to the complexity of that condition. Now, I'm not going to try to make this a science or anatomy lesson, but here's what you need to understand. What you must get to the bottom of is what is the cause of your type 2 diabetes? Because I'm pretty sure no one's told you this before. It is not the same for every person. If I take 20 people in a room, or the next 20 people you meet that are type 2 diabetic, I would bet $100 that I've never met them, but I bet $100 that I know what drugs they're taking. I mean, that is a cookie cutter approach. I mean, that's how bad it's gotten. I could literally guess right now which 3 medications you're probably taking. And the reason I think that's bad, and the reason it is bad, is because it's a cookie cutter approach. It's generic. Doctors have stopped trying to understand the physiology of type 2 diabetes. They've said, hey, there's medication, the pharmaceutical rep says this will work, let's give it to you. Doctors need to read to understand what I'm about to tell you. There are different mechanisms, different causes for what ultimately leads to the condition where you get labeled type 2 diabetes. Ultimately, what is it? Well, it's elevated fasting blood glucose. I mean, if your blood sugar is too high for too long, your hemoglobin A1C is too high, you get labeled diabetic, type 2 diabetic. But how did you get there? Yeah, maybe you ate some junk food, maybe you had stress, maybe you didn't exercise, but is that the full story? Does that explain everything? Or were you even given a chance to explain, or were you hustled in and out in 10 minutes because the doctor pretty much knew what was up with you? You were a little overweight, you know, you're 35, 45, 55. They predetermined. I mean, they prejudged you and said, I know what the deal is. You overeat, you drink beer, that's the problem. It gets more complicated than that. There's so many different things that are at play. There's cortisol, there's inflammation, there's adrenal gland health, there's liver health. I've posted on this before. And what I'm telling you is, if you really want to live life again and not feel, shackled, and not feel chained by the fatigue of type 2 diabetes, by your inability to have stamina, by poor sexual function, low libido. If you want to be able to lose weight, if you want to really enjoy life, because feeling good and enjoying life is what life is about. It's about spending time with your family, doing the things you love to do. And I've got to tell you, you've figured this out if you've been taking these medications very long. You can't do that when you're taking these medications because it forces you. This type 2 diabetes thing forces you to take high blood pressure medication and cholesterol medication, and all those medications have side effects. And the side effects are, you don't get to feel like you anymore. But there is another way to do it. You just have to be a good health detective. You've got to dig. You've got to find out about cortisol, adrenal gland health, food sensitivities, bacterial infections, immune system problems. A doctor has to look at all those things. And that's one of the reasons why we get great success with people that have been labeled with type 2 diabetes, because we realize it's just a label. And what we do in our program, what I do in our program, is we look at you. Because I want to treat the person, not the disease. I want to treat the person, not the diagnosis. I want to treat you, not your type 2 diabetes.